Good afternoon. My name is Ronnie Washington, and I'm the CEO and founder of Onward Financial. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, how critical is it to have just $400 in your savings account? For most of us, that may be nothing. We may not give it a second thought. But based on personal experience, it can mean the difference between having a life that's completely stable or completely destabilized. I've personally witnessed the impact of financial stress and insecurity in my own family when my uncle, one of the hardest working men I know, experienced a car issue and couldn't get to work. He had to scramble for help, and had I not been there, would have ended up at the door of a payday lender charging him upwards of 317% APR. I was his safety net, but what about everybody else? In conversation, I realized that his story wasn't unique and that others were going through similar situations. Take Anne, for instance. Anne is a hardworking single mother of 3. She has a stable job at a manufacturing company where she earns just enough to provide for herself and her family. However, one day, her son got sick, and she had to miss 10 days of work. The first of the month was coming up very quickly, and rent was due. She was worried that she wouldn't be able to pay it. What were her options? Anne passes a payday lending shop on her way to and from work every single day and knew that she can get the money immediately that way. However, after talking to a few of her colleagues, she ended up asking her boss for help as a first line of defense. My uncle and Anne aren't the only ones affected when emergencies happen like this. Anne's employer, Joe, has a reason to care too. Every month, one of his employees comes to him for a payday advance or a loan. Financial stress actually increases the cost to his business in terms of attrition, absenteeism, and loss of productivity. What could he do for his people? In the US, nearly half of Americans don't have $400 in their savings. Furthermore, more than half of the American workforce actually earns less than $20 per hour, making it harder to save. This creates vulnerabilities, and that's why we chose to focus on this population. I created Onward for this very purpose. Onward is a nonprofit employer benefit program whose mission is to provide the tools for every American worker to build a financial cushion for themselves. We allow employees to save directly from their paycheck, access financial tips, as well as access emergency credit when they need it, while reducing the burden on the employer. It works like this. Once sponsored, employees can download the app directly on their phone, register, and set a personalized goal for themselves. Once they do this, we connect with payroll to allow folks to save directly from their paycheck into a savings account, essentially allowing them to set it and forget it. We send financial tips, tools, and other resources to their phones, meeting them where they are and based on behavior. And after 3 months of engaging with Onward, employees become eligible for an emergency loan through Onward worth up to $1,000. So take Anne again, an actual Onward user. She didn't have to decide between making rent and taking care of her child. Instead, she had Onward, which gave her the peace of mind to use her savings as well as the emergency loan that we provided to get her over the hump. On the back end, Onward partners with a bank that allows us to put savings and lending capability in the pockets of every low to moderate income worker. Essentially, Onward owns the user experience. Our team is particularly committed to solving financial insecurity. Our VP of Product, Omar Al-Alami, has 11 years in banking experience, underwriting and compliance. Our VP of Business Development has worked with United Way and led a number of financial wellness initiatives throughout Kansas City. And I personally lived and worked in Ghana for 2 years building community-based banks. But the reason I do this work is because I fundamentally believe that no one should have their lives completely destabilized for a few $100s. With support from those listed here and others, we were able to launch a pilot in Kansas City last year where we experienced 100% retention. This year, with added support in terms of an employer match, the average balance of our users is $722. And that's just within the first 2 months of this year. Folks that thought they couldn't save are doing so at a very rapid pace. That's why my challenge to you is the next time you go shopping, or get a cup of coffee, remember that there are Anns and Joes around us everywhere we go. With Onward, the Anns of the world can have peace of mind around their finances. With Onward, the Joes of the world don't have to bear the cost of financial stress. And with Onward, every employer across the nation can address financial insecurity for their low to moderate income workers. Please join me on this journey in providing a financial cushion to every American worker. Thank you.